Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. I am Fredicia Liebert. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, recently discussed his vision for the island's tourism industry with Pamela Martin, host of the weekly program On the Tourism Trail. Premier Brantley is the Minister of Tourism in the Nevis Island Administration.
Well, clearly our objective in terms of tourism is to grow our tourism product, to become better known in the markets that we serve. The island, of course, has always catered to the higher end of that market. I think it's a niche that has done well for Nevis, but a niche I think that we can do better at. We need to work more closely with our hotels, with our product development, and we need to do more marketing in order to ensure that our island is known and that the people that we're seeking to attract know about us. We are making some strides in that regard. Airlift has been a huge problem for the island of Nevis. Right. We're now embarked on a significant project in the airport that we're hoping we can bring to fruition in short order. We recognize that a lot of our hotels have complained about the cost of electricity and the difficulties that they've experienced. We hope that by pursuing our renewable energy pursuits that we would be able to offer them some relief again in the very near future, which will dramatically reduce costs for them. But we've seen appreciable growth. We've seen the hotels doing much better this season. They've sort of been roaring back, if you will. The room rates and the average room rates are quite high, some historic highs. We see more restaurants being opened and catering. So I think that the signs are good. It's just for us now to continue to work at it and to ensure that we get to where we want to be, which is for Nevis to be one of the premier destinations in the Caribbean.
He also spoke to providing opportunities for training in tourism-related fields.
Well, we've had the ambition to have a hospitality institute here of some kind for a very long time. We simply haven't had the resources to do it. And we're even now seeking partners to see whether we can provide maybe some land for somebody to build something, or to provide some incentives for somebody to acquire something, to transform it into a sort of hospitality center. That aside, however, we are very keen to offer training opportunities. In fact, through the Nevis Tourism Authority, we have just offered a scholarship for, I think it's a 10-week culinary training in the UK. These are initiatives that we intend to continue to take. The government continues to support financially those who are interested in going off for training.
Premier Brantley noted that the education system ought to be closer aligned with the developmental needs.
Even some people who study tourism are still not coming back with the skill sets that I think we need to grow and develop our industry. So a lot of theory, perhaps, a lot of studies, perhaps, but in terms of saying, okay, what does St. Kitts and Nevis need? What does the Caribbean need? And even within the Caribbean, we have different products. In fact, even within St. Kitts and Nevis, we have different products. Because while St. Kitts is largely mass tourism and the cruise ship industry, Nevis is not. So we have to be able to see how we can get an education system that is more tailored and that's fit for purpose. So it's an observation. I think that it's one of the curiosities about our Caribbean region that we're so heavily dependent on tourism, but very little has gone into preparing our people to take the commanding heights in that industry.
On the Tourism Trail airs on Monday evenings on Nevis Television. The show can also be viewed in its entirety on the Ministry of Tourism Nevis YouTube channel. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has issued a statement saying it is outraged by the kidnapping by alleged gangsters of Harold Mazuka, the father of the Honorary Consul of St. Kitts and Nevis, Harold Mazuka Jr., based in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. The government was further informed that the consulate's official vehicle was also seized. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis expresses outright condemnation of this and other acts which lawless agents in Haiti continue to utilize to terrorize Haitian citizens and residents alike. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is deeply concerned about the safety of Mr. Mazuka and hopes that he will be returned to his home and loved ones soon. It is the government's wish that the Mazuka family will find solace in the fact that the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis stand in solidarity with them at this undoubtedly traumatic time. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis calls upon those who are bent on committing these criminal and heinous undertakings to cease the violence and reiterates the appeal to the international partners for short-term assistance to address the security and humanitarian crisis. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, held a meeting with Kittitians and Nevisians living in the diaspora at the St. Kitts and Nevis Embassy in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, April 15th. The meeting was attended by more than 70 nationals. The Prime Minister spoke on topics of national importance, including the new graduate finance project at the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis and solutions and actions that are being taken to address infrastructural challenges such as energy and housing development. The Prime Minister fielded other questions from nationals on topics of discussion ranging from constitutional reform to diaspora engagement on skills development. In attendance at the meeting were staff at the St. Kitts and Nevis Embassy in Washington, D.C. and the Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, Naima Hazel. Meantime, Prime Minister Drew, who was in Washington, D.C. for the World Bank IMF spring meetings, participated in a 5K walk in the D.C. area on Saturday, April 15th. The annual walk was organized by the St. Kitts and Nevis National Association in Washington, D.C. Naima Hazel, Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, Chanel Simmons, Charge d'Affaires ad interim at the St. Kitts and Nevis Embassy in Washington, D.C., and Sonia Boddy Thompson, Interim Representative of St. Kitts and Nevis to the OAS, also attended the walk. The President and Vice President of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Association of Washington, D.C., Neville Mitchum, and Corinne Mussington Archibald also joined the walk. Still to come, deadline for registration of Culturama 49 Senior Kaiso Contest fast approaching. The details right after this break.
Tune into NNC on MTV. Don't worry if you don't have cable either. NNC will bring the news to you wherever you are. Facebook and Facebook Live. YouTube and YouTube Live. NevisTVOnline.com. Roku app, NTV mobile app, Smart TV, Apple TV, and any other IPTV platforms. When me ANC and you ANC, NNC.
Welcome back. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force continues to expand its community involvement efforts. On Friday, April 14th, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force officially launched its Gifted Games Club at the Barnesgut Community Centre. The Gifted Games Club is a joint community venture between the Department of Community Development in the Nevis Island Administration and the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. The Games Club will serve as a positive outlet and a safe space in which Nevisian youth can learn soft skills such as patience, tolerance, camaraderie, and basic conflict resolution skills. In attendance were Superintendent Lyndon David, Inspector Alonso Carty, and Corporal Shauna Pemberton. The Gifted Games Club meets every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. The Nevis Culturama Festival Committee is encouraging Kaisonians to register for the Senior Kaiso Contest, which will be held as part of Culturama 49, with the dates July 27th to August 8th, 2023. The deadline for registration is Friday, April 28th, 2023. Registration forms can be collected from the Culturama Secretariat in the Cotton Ginnery Mall, Charlestown, or they can be downloaded from the Nevis Culturama Festival website, www.culturamanevis.com. Completed registration forms must be returned to the Culturama Secretariat on or before the deadline dates on the registration forms. They can also be emailed to the Secretariat at culturamanevis.com. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Freddie Silibird. Thank you for viewing.